It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today. Joining us on the phone is Yavapai County Sheriff's Office spokesman Dwight D'Evelyn. A website for you to keep in mind, and I'll repeat this as I always do during the show, ycsoaz.gov. YCSO, Yavapai County Sheriff's Office, azarizona.gov. ycsoaz.gov. Hello, Dwight.
Hey, good morning, Paul.
It's difficult to get Dwight nailed down because he's a busy guy, so I feel pretty privileged to be able to sit down and speak with him for about 30 minutes and talk about things. We're going to do a little COVID-19 talk at the beginning here, but then we're going to jump into Code Red and Ready, Set, Go, because we can't forget the wildfire season is upon us. So let's start there, Dwight. I talked to the sheriff a couple of weeks ago, and he says things were going really well. The public seemed okay with the stay-at-home order, and all was going very well. Looks like we've got probably at least 3 more weeks of this to go. How are things going for the sheriff's office with this stay at home?
Overall, pretty well. We're very appreciative of the community support for the governor's order. The sheriff did a video the other day, and we have a Facebook page also I'd like to mention, if that's okay. It is an excellent source of information for the sheriff's office. Sometimes if an incident is ongoing, it's in real time. So we encourage folks to go there also. But we're handling the typical calls for service. We've seen a little bit more of the disorderly conduct type calls and domestic violence. And we've had some issues with custody where one parent doesn't want the other parent to have the child because of the COVID issue and things like that. So, but for the most part, the calls have leveled off somewhat, and we're just our goal is to inform and educate on any of these issues related to public gatherings or businesses that are non-essential that are still operating. So the deputies are doing a great job out there, and we're just glad the community overall has been very supportive.
Hopefully we can all hold out for just a few more weeks, and this is going to be bye-bye, and we can go back to our lives and not have any, re-spikes of the COVID-19 after this is over with. Let's hope. Yeah,
exactly. The county stats have been pretty consistent as far as leveling off, and our calls have kind of leveled off, but we've had some doozies out there where deputies are responding in a priority fashion just to make sure they get there in time to resolve an issue. And we're, as the sheriff said, we're very proud of our crews out there, not hesitating to get involved quickly and help out where we can.
Yeah, it's a different world we're living in, that's for sure. Everyone's had to make quite a few different changes.
Yeah, exactly. We're being a little bit more careful on how we approach. We're screening calls. Every call we ask a series of questions to determine if there might be someone infected at the location and allow deputies to mask up or approach it in a safe manner. And, of course, working with EMS officials, too, on medical calls. So it has changed our procedures a little bit, but we're still out there doing the work.
Well, we thank you for what you do. That's for sure.
Well, thank you.
Now, let's get into the next thing. We can't forget that wildfire season is upon us. Now, we've had a pretty good rain so far in April, and March kind of ended with rain, too, and some snow as well in the higher elevations. But I've received word from Coconino National Forest that they've had several fires because of abandoned campfires. Kaibab National Forest recently had a wildfire along I-40 near Williams that burned 15 acres. Just over this last weekend, the Bureau of Land Management and Mayor Fire responded to some spot fires along I-17 near Cordes Lakes. And then there was a wildfire in the Tonto National Forest in the Mesa Ranger District. And those were all kept very small, but it does show us that, in between these rains we get, things dry out pretty fast with these 30-mile-an-hour winds. So in the last couple of years now, there's been this great addition, I guess, to the sheriff's office in the ability to alert us when things are going on, and that is Code Red. And before we even talk about Ready, Set, Go, Code Red is pretty much something we have to have, right?
Exactly. It is really, I can't stress enough for folks to take advantage of this free system, the ability to get notifications essentially in real time regarding fires, floods, disasters, other very important emergency alerts. It's very easy to sign up for Code Red. Simply go to our website, which you were nice enough to mention, ycsoaz.gov. Click on the emergency notification link, and it takes probably 4 or 5 minutes to sign up. And once you do, you'll receive text notifications if you choose that. You'll receive a pre-recorded phone call. The system will leave a voicemail, and it will provide details on any alerts that we've issued in the county. And the information is very critical, especially in the case of a fire, as far as possible evacuation, shelters, and other really important information that you may not be aware of unless you get the notification. So we can't stress Code Red enough.
Now, for Code Red, let's say if I live in Cottonwood and say there's a wildfire outside of Prescott and it's going to force some evacuations there, am I going to get that Code Red as well?
Well, one thing about Code Red, and I'm glad you brought this up, the communications personnel have the ability to pinpoint the area they want the Code Red to target. So they can actually draw out on a map where those phone calls are going to go based on addresses and phone numbers we have in the system. Generally, you probably wouldn't get one if you're well outside of a possible evacuation area. But this brings up the point of the mobile version of Code Red, which we also recommend folks get on their cell phone. Now, that is a separate application, but it's also free, it's confidential, and it allows you to receive notifications directly on your cell phone. The big plus to this application is if you're in an area where Code Red's being used, no matter, let's say you're in New Mexico and there's a Code Red alert, if you're driving through, your cell phone will get activated on Code Red because it is in the area where the notification is occurring. And again, this is only on the mobile application. So that's another advantage of not only signing up online, but signing up with your cell phone for the mobile application.
You've had to use this a few times, haven't you?
We've used it quite often, mostly for fires. We had that large fire in Mayer not too long ago, and the system was extremely effective in getting folks ready to go when we were prepared to do an evacuation. And it's wonderful for our volunteers who go out and do some of these one-on-one contacts and evacuations to hear that they've already been prepared because they got the Code Red and they're ready to leave when told. And we're just so pleased that folks have taken advantage of this system.
Yeah, it's got to really speed up the process, I would imagine, to have. It's the Jeep posse and the deputies that usually go into these areas, right, that are about to be evacuated or at least put on ready to check on everybody and make sure things are right. Just, yeah, it's got to be really handy to pull up and say, yeah, we know this is happening, we're okay here, and then they can just move right on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, our Yavapai County Jeep posse is generally called out for all our evacuation detail. So they're out on the road. They go in some communities when possible, and they have the time. They'll go door to door just to make sure folks are alerted. But we really rely on the Code Red to alert a large group of people quickly about an issue, especially a fire.
All right, let's take our first break. Yavapai County Sheriff's Office spokesman Dwight D'Evelyn is in studio today. Their website is ycsoaz.gov, ycsoaz.gov. This is countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Paul David, Yavapai County Sheriff spokesman. Dwight D'Evelyn in studio today. The website again is ycsoaz.gov. ycsoaz.gov. Their Facebook is facebook.com/Yavapai County Sheriff. Facebook.com/Yavapai County Sheriff. Okay, so Dwight, we talked about Code Red. Now there's the Ready, Set, Go. What does the Ready, Set, Go mean? Because did we implement that last year, or has it been a couple of years now that we've done Ready, Set, Go?
It's been at least 2 years, and it's a very simple way to hopefully motivate folks to be prepared for an emergency like a fire. And you break it down, and it's just an excellent tool to remind folks what they need to do to avoid panic and get out of their homes if they, for example, a fire is approaching. One thing I want to say, though, there may be cases, and this has happened in the past, where there's not an opportunity to go through these 3 steps. In fact, you may get a phone call on your Code Red, and it may be a go notification, which we'll talk about. But that means get out now. There's no time to incorporate the other 2 steps. So we want folks to use common sense. And, of course, if you sense danger and a fire is approaching your home, it's time to leave. Don't wait for a phone call. Do what you need to do to keep yourself and your family safe.
I guess we're kind of at that stage with COVID-19 going on. Now we know that there are certain things we just have got to be prepared for, and wildfire season is something we've talked about for numerous years about being prepared for it. And now, I want to think the fire in Prescott Valley a couple of years ago is one of those where it was just a go, because it kind of ignited right along Highway 169 or Highway 69 and burned right back into a residential area within just matters of minutes. And
right.
There was no ready, there was no set. It was like, okay, go.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this. Now, if I'm not at home and I get that go message, obviously I'm not going to be able to go back there. But what if my pets are there? And we're going to talk about the 5 Ps too. What if all that stuff's still at home?
Well, and that's the concern. And you will get if you're signed up for Code Red, again, based on your address and the phone number you enter, you will get the notification even if you're not home. And that's where you may want to contact a neighbor and just say, can you, I've got a couple dogs in the yard. Can you make sure they're safe, or are you able to transport them for me? There's a whole issue with livestock, which we can talk about in a minute, too, and we have some folks set up to help you with that. But that's where the planning takes place, and that's where maybe relying on your neighbors to give you a hand with a pet is really maybe the only answer for the short term.
Yeah, so there's some pre-planning right now. Get to know a neighbor, and then if you're home when it happens and you know they're not and their animals are there, you can help with that and vice versa. So you got somebody who's got your back while it's happening. So that'd be a nice thing.
Right, and even more importantly, you may have someone in the neighborhood who a senior or a person that's handicapped, and you want to make sure that they're going to be safe. So maybe have that neighbor check on them. Again, if you're not in the area. It's basically taking care of each other, and we understand how much anxiety is involved in this. But that's why the sooner we can get those notifications out, the better. And we try to do that on all these major incidents.
One thing nice about Yavapai County is residents do come together very, very well and very quickly.
Yes, they do.
They
Absolutely.
do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now, if I have a ready message, if I get the ready message, what does that mean?
Well, it's basically just a forewarning or an alert that there may be a major incident in your area that may require an evacuation at some point. So the alert is to encourage you to stay aware of the latest news. Maybe look for a code red on your phone. Go to our Facebook page. Go to the Yavapai County Emergency Operations Center page and just check into what is going on, and then stay in touch, because sometimes information may come through the media that is critical for you, but not everybody else. So it's incumbent upon you to just kind of track these things. And again, if you're not on Code Red, you may have time to sign up for Code Red, so you are getting the alert, and then just stand by and wait for further information. But this is the time to, and this is to avoid panic, gather all your important papers, deal with the pets, personal needs, priceless items, and things like that, and have those ready to go.
Yeah, that's the P's we were talking about. Pets,
right.
Papers, all your important documents, like mine and my wife. We have them all in one of those fire boxes near the front door that we can just pick up and take out the door. Prescription medications for you and your pets. Make sure you have both a little bit off to the side just in case. Pictures, you can't replace those, but if you have them all on your computer, you can just put them on a thumb drive and you got all your photos with you. You don't have to worry about a photo if it does burn in your home. And then your personal computer, if you can, grab the tower, grab your monitor, grab your laptop and stick it in the car and just have it ready to go so you're ready to run out the door, because the next step is set.
Exactly. And just remember, too, as you're gathering these important items that you may not be able to return right away. A lot of folks leave and they forget maybe the medication. We will work with you to get you back in on a critical issue. But for the most part, once you leave an evacuation area, you will not be allowed to return until it's safe. So make sure you're gathering all that, those important items quickly and have them ready to go. Yeah, in the case of a set, and this is, this is the next level, and residents should consider voluntary relocation to a shelter or a friend's home outside the evacuation area. We really encourage a lot of folks, when you get a set notification, to go ahead and make the move, because when the go hits, the time is of the essence. So the set is really an alert that, it may be time to pack up the car and get out. And again, being aware of what's going on around you, staying in touch with the latest news, and monitoring for any further Code Red notifications.
You mentioned you wanted to talk a little bit about livestock, because that did become kind of a different thing for Yavapai County for a few fires, where we had a bunch of livestock that needed to be rescued as well.
Yeah, and fortunately, in the last year or so, we've had a group of volunteers step up, and they've done a fantastic job, and they're working with Yavapai County on this. They have a website also, but it's the Equine Emergency Evacuation Group. Their website is eeeyc.org. That's EEYC.org. And they have all kinds of tips and tricks to prepare livestock for an evacuation, locations where you can take your livestock. And we're so proud of the community for stepping into the gap here, because this has been an issue for us in the last few fires, is what to do with livestock. And again, being prepared is the trick. So we encourage those that have horses, cattle, those kind of things, go to that website, stay in touch with these folks, contact them, and get some great tips on how to handle that, because that will be a big issue in a large fire.
That was eeeyc.org, eeeyc.org, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Equine Emergency Evacuation.
Gotcha.
YC.org.
All right, let's take our second break. YCSOAZ.gov is a website for you that'll take you to the sheriff's office, or you can go to facebook.com/Yavapai County Sheriff. Dwight D'Evelyn from the sheriff's office in studio today. We're talking about Code Red and Ready, Set, Go, which is very important for wildfire season. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Yavapai County Sheriff's Office spokesman Dwight D'Evelyn is in studio today. Again, the website's YCSOAZ.gov or go to Facebook.com/Yavapai County Sheriff. One thing we've talked about in the past, Dwight, when it comes to Code Red and Ready, Set, Go, is that, again, we mentioned it in the last break, that sometimes maybe you're not home when this happens, or maybe I am home and say the kids are at school, and that Code Red comes in, and now it's a go, and I have to leave, and the school buses obviously are not going to be able to come into the neighborhood to drop the kids off, so we should probably have a nice, neutral meeting place.
Yes, correct. And, of course, it depends on the age of the child. High school kids are in most cases will be free to leave school if they're not in the affected area. And that's where, assuming they have a cell phone, they can contact you to make that arrangement. In many cases in the past, some of our schools have just remained essentially on a lockdown. And that's where you want to contact the school and just determine if, in fact, that's the case. And that's probably going to be the safest place for your child to be, especially if they're young children. And they would likely ask you to go to the school and pick them up. But short of that, you can set up a location with your child, which may be another family member outside the evacuation area. It could be at a shopping center, which is a good place to meet, especially like maybe a Walmart where there's a large parking lot, because you might want to gather there, and while you're there is get some extra supplies, because you may end up in a motel or a shelter. So that's, again, where the preparation is critical. Talk to your kids about this. especially your young kids. Let them know, Mom and Dad will be okay. You'll be in school. You'll be safe, and we will come get you when we're allowed to. And that's generally how you want to handle that in a situation of a go.
Wow. Well, I think we've covered it pretty well. I think we have. We've got the 5 Ps, ready, set, go. We got the code red. One other thing, though, you mentioned the livestock. So I think I'd like to hit that website one more time if I could, eeeyc.org. That's going to be a good resource for you if you have horses or cattle or goats and sheep, pigs, whatever it is. If it's livestock, you should probably go there and take a look and see what they have for tips, just in case for some reason, your ranch area, your piece of property gets evacuated. You can at least know what to do. eeyc.org. And again, Sheriff's Office website is ycsoaz.gov. Their Facebook page is facebook.com/Yavapai County Sheriff. Dwight D'Evelyn, thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with me this morning. I appreciate that.
No problem at all. We'll post some of the Ready, Set, Go information on our Facebook page for folks to take a look at and they can download. Beautiful. All right, that's today's Countywide. As always, we thank you for listening, and we will talk to you again next time.